7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
All power to the people. It's the Bruh Listen Podcast, the Black podcast focusing on social political issues and how they affect our community. With your hosts, Brea Ward, Cedric Owens, Matt Smiley, and Anthony Rogers. Bruh Listen. Bruh Nation, what's good? Dos Vidania.
You ain't gotta be perfect, bud.
Oh,
Little
snap.
Russian or whatever.
Was it over before I said
Nah,
that?
you good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody lit today. So, Tank how chicken.
Skeet.
chicken. Brea high off sangria and Matt high off life. Everybody feel good?
And what is
Can't be
sangria? That's a good grade of ganja.
Nah, sangria is what she drinking.
What the
This
fuck?
ain't
is
none of
sangria?
Colorado.
Sangria is like what they make sangria from?
Whole bunch of fruit, little bit of wine.
Yeah, it's like wine with a little bit of alcohol in it.
Okay.
It's for
Got
alcoholics.
you a blowed over that bit.
Nah. Brea, I don't think Brea smoked Brea, you smoked the green?
Let's move on.
Her people wise. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
All right. If
We'll
it-
ask you again 2 minutes in when your mama stopped
Kick a
listening.
nigga foot under the table if you did.
Oh yeah, okay.
I
Intern
want you
Bud.
to intern with some good stuff next time.
That's it.
You hear me?
Hey, intern
Get
Bud
on
here.
topic.
Shout out to intern Bud. He always on point. In a large pitcher or bowl, mix together brandy, lemon juice, lemonade concentrate, orange juice, wine, red preferably, triple set, and sugar. That's how you make set.
Ain't
It's
nobody,
supposed to-
ain't nobody had no homemade sangria here.
Really?
You buy the
I feel
bottle.
like we should make
that's
that.
it.
That's a lot of ingredients though.
Yeah, that's too much.
Episode 20, summer beverages.
That's it. Yeah. Bro, listen, podcast number 19. What's in sangria? Did niggas invent sangria? But nah, man, everybody feeling good. We here. We one episode away from the big 2-0, so we proud of that. We happy about that. And we gonna get into this episode. We started off talking about gentrification. So for those who don't know, gentrification is when you have a lower income neighborhood and then people come in and buy up the houses that are either abandoned or are up for sale for low cost. They fix them up and then they sell them at a higher rate or raise the rent, whereas taking out the old occupants and bringing in the new occupants. This seems to happen a lot within the black community. I know in Jacksonville here it's happening a ton. Matter of fact, where I live and the 685 studios or whatever, gentrification is the name of the game. I live in a gentrified house, so that's a thing. And then also they starting to do it on the north side, east side, Springfield.
I support that.
So I was just about to say, what's y'all thoughts on gentrification? Do you feel like it's boxing out
Hell no.
African Americans?
I 100% support it. Sometimes you got to make niggas get the crackers, the people that doing it, not doing it as thinking of it as something positive, but it can be positive because you too many generations stuck in the same bullshit situation or whatever. Sometimes you got to get kicked out. Like sometimes when you get fired, you find something better, a better job. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. Hallelujah. You know. So I support it. I don't give a fuck. God damn it, the shit run down, the shit raggedy, is poverty stricken. All right, ain't shit good coming up out of there. Well, maybe some niggas make but for the most part, it's bullshit. Niggas getting locked up, a whole bunch of trouble. So I'm all for the gentrification. And plus, the nigga when they selling it or whatever, most of the time I don't know how it go, but anybody can buy that shit. So it's
Right? That's
other black people who got money could also buy the shit like DJ Envy and Angela Yee, they bought some property in Detroit. It was being gentrified, but these niggas bought the shit and they was auctioning the shit off. They bought houses for like $1,000.
Yeah, Detroit a gold mine for real estate right now.
So it's gentrified, but anybody could buy the shit. It's just an upper level of society.
But you don't think that play into the whole like they accept niggas with money and they don't accept niggas without money?
That's the way the world works, baby.
And with that the rent discrepancy, right? So rent go up, but your wage don't go up. These people can't get new jobs. So what way them people go?
That's a whole nother talk on a whole.
I think it's all in one.
But that's a whole system of shit that I don't.
But you don't think gentrification is part of this system of the wage wealth thing?
Yeah, but wages and rent. I mean, rent is independent of wage. That's two different departments. That's like judicial and legislation. Yeah, they affect each other, but it's two different branches.
Matt, what you think, bro?
No, I'm actually down with gentrification for the same reasons
My
Tank
nigga.
say. But what gentrification does bring to light is the fact that most of those communities that are targets for it, that financial literacy isn't present. Because like you say, Tank, the same thing that made it worth $300,000 in 6 months was true regardless of whether the owner was black or white. The problem is not having the resources ahead of time to
Right.
actually make that conversion as your own neighborhood. Who would not like to live in a neighborhood where all the, residents decide, you know what? We're going to all cut our grass regularly. We're going to all paint our houses. We're going to update our plumbing. We're going to fall into what's modern and new and raise our property values from where they are now. Instead, gentrification, what generally happens is it's another tool for the wealthy to prey on the
poor.
lower rungs of society, whether it's the poor or the ignorant. It's the practice of, you know what? You don't understand what this house could be, but I do. And I have the resources to get it
Are they
there.
lying though? Because that don't sound like I ain't hear no untruthfulness in that statement.
Oh, no. That's why I support
Yeah,
gentrification, because I said, why not get the most dollars for whatever something's worth?
Yeah, like y'all
That's,
niggas
that's, the
fucking this up.
that's the entrepreneurial spirit. That's the, you know what? If you had the vision I had, you might be able to find a way to get there. But since you lack it, I'm going to take it. It's an opportunity.
And crackers ain't gonna take the time to teach y'all niggas. So
Well,
you got to learn.
Why would I teach you how to make my $1
Yeah.
million?
Bria, what you think?
Yeah. The voice of reason.
Save our houses.
Bria, what you
Lord.
think?
You
I
against?
got a really crazy way of thinking. It's not crazy. I'm sorry, not crazy. It's
Well, you already said this. Don't apologize.
Never apologize.
You already said it.
I don't know. I agree with it for the, if it's gonna help the community out. But I don't believe in just forcing people out of their neighborhoods and out of their livelihood, especially if they've been there for a while, to make them move. And then the same thing that's happening in that community, if you make them move, it's just gonna go and do it in another community. So why not just build up the community in itself and help those people out and educate them on the things that you all are saying they don't know. So educate them so that they. That's what's wrong with society now.
But-
Ain't nobody got
but
time to do what's right.
What,
That's what's wrong.
what gentrification really is, and when we see it in this form, we don't complain. When the coal jobs leave an area, the elevator operator man, it was probably some kid who went to high school with the full plan that one day he was going to grow up. And for a lot of y'all listening, y'all don't know what an elevator operator man is. That was the guy who stood in the elevator. What floor, ma'am? Crank, 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 and got you to your floor.
Yeah.
Then it got automated. He got phased out. And for all the guys who said, you know what, elevator job's going to come back, son, just wait it out, they got left behind. Gentrification is people who've gotten left behind because they have not advanced with the times.
Now,
And
whose
that's-
fault is
But
that?
what's the
Yeah,
reason
I was
why
about to
they
say, how
didn't
we
advance?
advance?
Now,
Whose
see,
fault
now
is
see-
that?
now
Whose
see-
fault? It's on the individual.
Something-
I answer
some-
my own question.
Thanks, Trump.
the fault, where the fault lays isn't as important as why does that even happen? Because my new philosophy is this: by the time we see the problem, we probably missed a lot of opportunities to correct it. So with gentrification, when we're talking about the lower rungs of society being forced out, well, at one point they were able to afford rent here. At one point they were able to afford to own property in this area. What happened to where the rest of society moved forward?
But if
and
they
got
never
stuck
got the
behind?
education along the
And
way,
they got stuck behind. Right. That's
well, that's not their fault.
It is their fault.
It's their
At
fault.
some point, it got to be
everybody-
their fault.
If everybody doesn't get left behind, the individual has to take some credit for their situation.
At
The
what
whole
point does it
communities
become
everywhere.
their fault?
Well, see, I disagree with gentrification because of this. Because, okay, so I'm going to use Jacksonville for example, right? You take Springfield. When Springfield first started as a community or whatever, right? It was a white community. And then black people, when they did get because this back during segregation times, when they got the money to move in there, they started moving in. And what did white people do? They left and they went out to Arlington. Or
White
they went
flight.
out, yeah,
Call it
white
what it
flight,
is.
white flight. They dipped because they don't want to be there with niggas or whatever, right? So now they done did white flight 3 or 4 times in different communities in Jacksonville, and now they running out of space. So then they decide, okay, well, we gonna go back and get these really cheap houses, and then we're gonna get them. And the rent at this area would have been $500 for rent back before they started building the houses or remodeling the houses, and now the rent $900.
But wait, what they do to go from 500 to 900 now?
They did. They remodeled it.
They
They invested in
invested
it.
in
True,
the community.
but that's my thing.
They invested in the property.
Here's why I'm against it though, because now it's no longer our community, and just because I agree with what you and Tank saying about people investing and they getting their money, that's their right. I get that. I agree with that. But my thing is, what do we do with these people who no longer can afford to live here. They don't just disappear from the face of the earth because we
Just
priced
because
them
we
out.
decided we wanted to move
Right.
in.
It's plenty of hoods
Where
in
they-
Duval for
But
them nigga to move to.
it's not even that.
But it's not
So-
though.
but the-
Okay,
Yes,
so
it
if
is.
gentrification keeps going, okay, and they do this to every
Every
community,
hood. Then where we
what
going?
the heck? What's gonna happen to the
They
people?
always, we
What's gonna
always
happen
find
to the
somewhere to
people?
go.
But
Black
here-
people
but
survivors,
here's-
especially the lower
right,
rung.
right.
They'll find somewhere to go.
That's the thing.
God damn it, you got to get the fuck up out of here.
That's the thing. We can't on one hand say Wakanda forever, and that on the other side say that they gonna price us out of somewhere.
But see,
Well,
that's the
but
thing. They
it's-
they not gentrifying Wakanda. They gentrifying Grand Park.
Right.
It's
Two
about
different
that.
things. Wakanda is already
Wakanda is
self-sustaining.
ours. We don't have shit.
Think
That's
about
the
this.
thing.
Okay, because we talk about the lower shit because it's black communities that's not been gentrified. But they're economically able to have a good neighborhood of shit.
Right.
So when we're talking about the post shit, this is white or black because white
Right.
shit could get
Because
gentrified
you're not going into Reebok Shores or whatever that is behind Reebok High. You're not going
Ocean
there
Way
gentrified.
got Ocean Way got
because
gentrified.
they got cash. So
Hey, Bud, can you look up the per capita household income for Prince George's County?
Prince George
Nah,
County.
nah, Ocean
Which
Way,
one? Which Prince George County?
It's the one that'll pop up.
Okay.
Ocean Way is, if you don't know about Duval, it was the redneck KKK part of town.
Still
and shit.
is.
And it's still
It's
but,
trailer
but,
heavy.
but because of I guess you want if you they don't call I don't know why they don't call it gentrification there because
Gentrification, it have to be white people.
it has to be white people.
Yeah.
But it was still gentrification as in the sense of
It was niggification.
yeah, it was
'Cause
niggas. Now
niggas
it's all
moved out
niggas
there.
there, and they're elevated, and all them guys who couldn't afford the shit,
Right.
had to
because
get the fuck
that
out.
property and yeah,
And the
that-
property value went up,
Yeah, and that's cool.
and they found somewhere to go.
And that's cool
You'll
because
find somewhere.
but see, that's the thing. No, those niggas didn't come to Ocean Way because they ain't had nowhere to go and they got gentrified, priced out. They went to Ocean Way because they already had the money and they invested in new townhomes and houses and stuff out there. They not the same people who got priced out of this hood right here.
Well, they wanna
They
build
didn't
shit, so
get
you
priced
go-
out of Riverside. When we was growing up, Riverside was just trap
Well, that's
houses.
because it wasn't nothing to build up. It was already shit there, so they remodeled. Just think of it as instead of building, they remodeled. It's the same.
But yeah, I
practice.
can see what you're saying. But with the niggification and the gentrification, it's two different things because you're talking about the white people who gentrified like Brooklyn in New York, and the black people who gentrify Ocean Way in Jacksonville are on the same class level. But people, because they have the same amount of money.
Yeah, man.
But people,
Broke
but
motherfuckers
the
gotta find a wet place
the
to
people
go.
who getting kicked out of their neighborhoods because it's gentrified or whatever, they ain't got nowhere to go.
Yes,
bruh.
they do. Where you think they gonna? So
Look,
hold on.
man,
if
if
they
you-
have no place to go,
Where they
where
going?
do they go?
They
Where
not
they going?
You
dying
tell
in-
me because
they
I
not
know
dying-
where they going. You tell me where they going. You
They
have
not
no.
dying in
this
Where
front
they
of their
going?
old house.
Where they going?
They going
to another hood. The
But is
same shit that's run down like in the
To
shit
the
that
next
they
thing they
in.
can afford.
Okay.
So like if they gentrify this project, okay, we can't stay here no more. We're moving to this project. All right, the lower rung is gonna be the lower rung. You have to elevate your fucking self. All right, because they're going to find somewhere to go or whatever. They're not just going to be homeless. They don't go homeless when they leave.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Capitalism is
I
destroying
think
the world.
You say what now?
Capitalism
Yes. Welcome to
destroying.
welcome, young
the world.
comrade, to the world of communism.
Hey, baby.
But here's the thing, though. Again, gentrification is one of the few ways where we, as African Americans, can benefit from the efforts not designed to help us, right?
That's what I was saying.
So here's the thing. If you own a home in the neighborhood that's being gentrified, there's no rule that says you have to leave,
Nope.
right? Now,
Right.
the property tax will go up as your neighbors go up. But also, as your property tax go up, your equity in the home is going to go up
True.
as the value rises.
True.
If you've gone through the point of educating yourself to a point to saving the finances to purchase a home, is it too much to ask that you figure out how to say when it's time to sell or when is it just time
No,
to update?
I think you're right on that.
Is
You
that
right.
unfair?
No, it's not
Because those
unfair.
people-
But how do they know how to act? When do they know how to ask
Hold
that
on.
question?
Okay,
But you-
I
but
got a
think
question for Bria. Who is education dependent on? All of society or your immediate upbringing and circle, like family or whatever?
Who is it dependent on? I think.
Yeah,
is it?
your education. Who is on it for the
You
individual?
mean who the burden on to
Who
educate?
is the burden? Yeah, for the person to get educated,
Both.
the child.
Mostly it comes from the home, but
It
both.
comes from the home and it comes from the
I would say
society and community
I
that's
still
there.
think- yeah.
But as an overall, I can't be obligated because somebody over.
I bet you
IDs
can't, Trump.
I can't be.
I was
See,
going to
as
say
a
no. I think
socialist,
it also
I
falls
think
on
it is on
yeah,
society.
it still falls
Because
on society.
here's why
as
I think
well.
education is on a burden. You really are turning into a libertarian. Like every time we talk, more and more, you sound like Garrett Johnson.
What? Who the hell is that cracker?
Garrett Johnson is the libertarian candidate
He's
for
actually
president.
Hispanic.
Yeah, he not. He not. But he the libertarian candidate that ran
like
for president
niggas?
last year. I don't
Like,
know.
Nah, you know if cracker like niggas.
Here's my
niggas.
thing: libertarians claim they like black people, but all their
they
policies
claim-
are against.
Well,
them.
that's what most
you
white
can't
people.
always
all our
tell when
policies
a white
against
Most white people claim
But-
they like you, but behind those,
But
if they made a law saying niggas got to carry crackers bags, all of your little white friends, most of them be like, well, it's
What
the
if they had a
law.
law that say crackers got to carry a nigga bag?
We'll be like,
Who
nah,
that?
man.
You know, my bag be heavy sometimes.
Here, John.
I was gonna say I'll
Carry
take that
this
low.
load for me.
But
They owe us.
I was just gonna say,
because
Go
they
ahead.
steal.
I think it's society as a large, whatever. But I don't think it's mostly.
I was gonna say, see, I'm super.
I don't think it's
I'm
mostly
super,
on society.
I'm
But
super-
that's the point of the
yeah.
government.
I think I'm super
and that's
socialist.
the point.
I think here's my thing. Here's what
I mean, they took on the responsibility, so do your job.
yeah. Here's my thing.
What responsibility is on the individual at all?
No, I'm talking about the government.
Does
I'm
does the individual have any responsibility in society
Well,
for
here's-
himself?
Here's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
As a socialist, I believe this. There's only two things you can have. You can either have anarchy or you can have structure.
Yeah.
We've all chosen to have structure because we have a government that we don't overthrow every 2 days. So because we want government or whatever, and we want structure and we want laws and stuff, then I feel like the government have a certain role that they have to do. And part of that role is education, because you're not going to get a healthy society if you don't educate people.
Well, America is built on. Go ahead on, Matt. Go ahead on.
See,
Do your thing.
but what's always lost in that idea is at some point we all generally assume that spoiled kids don't turn out as well as kids who've had to earn something. That's an American standard. That's an American ideal. That, you know what, if you earn it, you'll appreciate it more, you'll do better with it. And then we say, okay, whatever I don't have, somebody needs to give to me so that it can be fair, so that it can be even.
Whoa, you commie?
No, but
I
see, but
am.
no. But see, but this
No.
but this is my thing though. It's the same way. Okay, there's free education K through 12 in this country. Everybody doesn't take advantage. Everybody doesn't make their kids take advantage. What can you do at that point? When tools are available and you decide I'd rather not work.
Okay, now that's on the individual.
Then, yeah,
I
then
agree
that
would
person
be on the
failed
individual.
in society and they fall off
Well,
the
that's-
rims of
But
society.
if you come
Finally agree, goddamn it.
regarding this this gentrification thing, if you come into a society and you don't educate the person that say, hey, I want to buy your house, and you don't tell them all the things that they don't know, like the equity and everything like that, then you're just basically pushing them out and you're taking advantage of them.
I think also
Because if you're not educating them on what you're coming there to do, how
You
can they
coming to
defend
buy their
themselves?
house.
Now
It's
that's-
not on me to
now
tell you to
that's-
make it.
now
I
that's-
But
get
if they're
fucked
not
up.
Wait a minute.
educated
Now
in
that's-
realty
now that's speaking
and
against your own self-interest at that point.
Yeah.
That's like you saying, oh, this job is paying $20 an hour. That's a raise for me. I need to tell everybody to apply. Not
Well,
until
then
my,
it's
not
wrong.
until
Right,
but
after
that's
my
wrong.
interview.
You ain't gonna
right, so then it's just wrong. It go all
Or
the way
somebody
around.
selling a car for $500 be like, you know, I should be paying $2,000
That's
for this.
worth
So I'm gonna get
$2,500.
$2,000 because you
Humanity is
paying.
my
lost.
thing is,
Good
I
Lord.
think
It was
That
a,
makes no
it was
sense.
a deal first.
I think one of the problems with this whole gentrification thing is it's another point where it shows a glaring hole of the lack of black community. Because I feel like if we had strong communities,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be gentrified because they'll already be high income areas in general,
Damn
and
right.
B, we would have structures where we can say, you know, Tom and Mark and whoever the black dudes that own this strip of houses, they would already know all of these things or whatever. But we don't have that. When in true reality, I may be against gentrification, but we can't stop it. Here's why: because most of these houses come up for option. And they get them for the low, and they buy them. The reason why they come up for auction is because they've been foreclosed on by the owners and stuff like that. And we don't own them houses. Most of the people that get, and you know what? Now I have to agree with y'all. Y'all right, because most of the people that get placed out in gentrification, they renting. So they don't own the house in the first place because can't nobody come buy your house if you don't want to sell your house.
But then what about the people that Tank mentioned? Like you said, Charlemagne and DJ Envy or whatever like that. They came in and bought houses.
Yeah.
So then what did they do with the community after they bought them houses?
So here's the thing, right? The real problem with gentrification, I think that we're hearing from this side of the table is, what do we do with the displaced people? Right? Okay, because I think it would be fine if, okay, this neighborhood goes from being $1,000 a month in rent to $2,000 if the people who could pay $1,000 can still have somewhere decent to live. Or
Right.
somewhere even.
Right.
Right? But in this case, that's not an option because what makes an area ideal for gentrification is the residents can no longer support a thriving, functioning community. They've been left behind. They're the coal miners that still want to have a coal dust-off shop. We don't need that. We want a Starbucks.
Trump said he gonna bring back the coal mining
And
jobs.
Starbucks is like, $140,000 to open up a franchise.
More than that.
I got
That's
Yeah.
fine, but whatever,
Yeah, but you're
whatever
right,
the number
you're right.
is, and we can't expect the residents to have that. And at the same time, it's another thing where how much is it up to the individual to say, I desire this for my life. I'm going to seek it out.
I want to make a correction. I gotta take it back. All right, because
It better be about white bitches.
white bitch, boy, I ain't said a damn thing about a white bitch.
He talking about over the course of the last 19 episodes.
I was gonna say not today. You're not gonna
You
say
ain't
nothing
gotta
about
take
us
nothing
talking
about
about
white
white.
bitches.
Bro, you ain't got to take nothing back about no white women.
All right,
bro.
I'm good at term, but now, look, now, I would say I'm with gentrification if the place that they are gentrifying is an impoverished and crime ridden, just because
You're right. Ain't
poor
no good.
people
Ain't no
doing
good.
dumb
Right.
shit, getting locked up. It's just a cycle, and then kids being born into that. It's just a cycle of bullshit.
Right.
But it is
Break
certain-
it up, do something else.
Break it up.
Okay.
Fuck that shit. But it is certain gentrification that's just fucking evil, which the white people have a tendency to do, like the Geechee people
That's
of South
imperialism.
Carolina.
The South Carolina
or whatever.
Geechee
The
people is a
Geechee
good
people,
point.
like they just got a prime property that crackers want, and they want to come and take it,
That's
just
right.
like America.
Now, just
So they just come and take y'all
just for
niggas shit.
everybody out there in Bruh Nation that don't understand, in South Carolina, there's a race of black people, the Geechees. They're from like close knit still genetically from their African
Free
descendants.
slaves.
The slaves, right? They free slaves. They happen to just go out to the marsh and to the beaches and build they houses out there because that's the only place they could be because all the other stuff was inland. And now you own prime property
real
on the
estate.
beach. So they pricing these people out because they want it. But you ain't got to go that far upstate. Here in Florida, right up the street in Fernandina, American Beach was all black for the longest or whatever. And now, just last year, the last black home was sold in American Beach. So it went from being an all black thing to where only black people be there because it's the segregated beach. And it was nice. It was clean. It wasn't all dirty and crime ridden. It was just black people living on the beach. And now no black people live there. And it's been bought out by all white people. And they done put in these little shops and stuff like that.
But I kind of feel like the blueprint was laid out when Columbus made it. Like, part of the American way, if you ask most Native Americans, would be
Take it.
gentrification.
Yeah? No, you're
But
right.
I feel like that's kind of
It's
one
kinda-
of the laws of the
But see,
land.
this the problem with the Geechee,
Yeah,
though.
of course
because
we don't.
A lot of the Geechee own they shit, so they not selling. But
Right.
which don't make it impossible.
Then you just come with intimate domain.
no,
No,
it's
no,
not
they can't
even
do
that.
that.
Oh, because they're not trying to build no state or
it's
federal
just-
thing.
It's,
Okay.
just, it's just the property taxes, right?
That's why it's a fight over there.
Yeah, because yeah, you're right. Because I know here in
Part somebody out of
Jacksonville,
an area.
Tim or whatever, he lived right there by where they built the new overpass thing, or whatever. And his place, they sold it and they split the money between them. But there was another person right next to him. They refused to sell. But because it was a federal or state funded project or whatever, they just was like, yo, we just gonna give you this money. You gotta go.
just take your shit.
Yeah.
But that makes sense, though.
Because it's eminent domain. Because basically, technically, you don't own nothing for real anyways. If the government want to come take it, they take it.
It's not even that. Like, honestly, if we all knew they was going to build the highway that would get us to work 10 minutes earlier, and there was one guy that didn't want to sell his
We
trailer,
outrule his ass. Get his ass the fuck out the way.
For the greater good.
Majority
And see,
rules.
For the
okay,
greater good.
now I want to go back to
Rules.
something I was saying. See,
Go ahead.
that's my point about, that's why I'm so socialist, and that's why I think it is on the society to educate the masses. Because if society can overrule a person's individual freedom, then we need to make sure that we, as a society, educate everybody on the same equal level. Because you saying right there, he owns that house, he bought it. His individual freedom of living there at that house where he want to be is not as important as the society overall.
That is correct.
I actually agree with that. So if it's not as important as the society overall, then society overall need to do better to give each
But
person
he's
the
go-
same
no,
opportunity.
But no, because in that instance, he's going to be justly compensated. Now, if he decides to take their first office, he a sucker. If he go get a lawyer and take it to court and get a proper valuation for his land, He'll come out
Now,
ahead.
now I'm about to say, now I do agree with you. He might come out with $1 million because I know the house that the lady didn't want to sell that was by Tim. They offered that lady $2 million.
We
That's
just need you
way
to go.
more than the value of the house. The house was appraised at $40,000. But here's the
property
thing:
is- the
that's
value-
relative because if you feel like this way I want to be, this way you want to be. It's just like those dumbass people that be like, they like, hey, you need to move because the hurricane gonna blow this house down every time it come, and they be like, I ain't moving.
And
So
then-
that's
and-
their
What if
right.
I'm not about the money? What if I just really like my house and I want to stay there?
That's okay.
That's
not
right.
okay.
It's
you
okay.
ain't gonna like your house once we
no.
build all the goddamn highways around it.
Right.
You gonna leave.
Listen,
Yeah, you
let me
gonna
tell
want
you
to get the
something.
fuck up out of there.
When your driveway
Right?
is a toll booth,
When your driveway is toll booth.
you're not gonna be excited about your yard no more. But at the same
is,
time,
man?
that's mighty selfish of
Oh,
you.
Brea,
For
that's
everybody,
selfish of me?
for everyone
'Cause I wanna
else-
live my life in my house that I bought,
No,
so that's
because
selfish of
everyone
me?
else
He
gonna get
right.
to work 20 minutes early.
Yeah,
but
he
you
right.
like the way the sun rises on my
You
post.
shit, you is
That mighty
selfish.
selfish.
I am not selfish.
Technically, Matt, right? A
Yeah.
person who doesn't want to move in the face of progress is mighty selfish of
The
you,
coal
right?
mine
Because
coming
of
back.
you. But
Because of you.
I used to work the elevator.
But see, this is how America is hypocritical. Because on one hand, they tell you to be an individual and be like have your own beliefs and own ideals,
And be strong.
And then
To a point.
And then on the other
a
hand,
point.
they said. But I want to say something else too. When they said, "Oh, you stopping the progress of America," they said that to the Native Americans when they was trying to build the railroads through their houses and
They
shit.
were though.
And see, and they was like, "Get your ass
That's
out
why
the
I'm
way."
saying it was right what they did.
Technically,
You ain't-
they were stopping progression, but
Right.
that don't make. I mean, evolution don't care if you
Now
right or
we
wrong.
talking. Now we
Evolution just
talking.
Oh,
happens.
here we go with evolution.
But see, that's my thing. I
The
agree with
facts
Tank.
of life.
See, here's the thing.
It may be harsh.
Here's the thing. Money and the government are the two most powerful things in America.
You forgot religion.
And religion is third, but the
Really?
religion don't have nothing to do with this particular argument. But money and the government, I do agree it's third though. But money and the government are the two most powerful things. And if the government have money behind them, and you can't do nothing about it. So if the government wanted to come in here right now and be like, "Yo, for the greater good of America, we got to tear down this house tomorrow," what I'm gonna do?
And
That's not true.
And that's with any country.
Well,
anyway.
no,
Pretty much.
no, that's not true. Because at one point, this country said it was okay to shackle niggas and treat them any way you feel because they're chattel property.
Right.
Oh yeah, but it's on the individual
Right.
to say fuck that shit.
No,
But what- it's only, It's only so much. It's only so
not
much.
the,
you
not
can
the
do.
individual because niggas was mad in chains.
I was
Say
gonna
what
say,
niggas
So
was
it,
what?
it's
sound
not
like
it's not on
Kanye
the
and
individual.
slavery was a choice.
It's on general society.
It's on society.
When-
So that's my thing. So
when the
but-
masses swing a certain way, that's the way this country will
right.
go.
So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
society,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
society, and
Yeah.
civilization itself goes with, like you said, whatever
Yeah.
the opinion is. And
Yeah,
and I
Okay, but
would
why
say-
can't you just go ahead? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you finish.
I want to hear the voice
Go
of
ahead, you
reason.
finish.
Go
You
ahead
the
on
voice of-
Brea.
Yeah, he right. You the voice of
You
reason.
sound
I don't
like-
understand why you can't just develop the community the way that not the way that it is, like with the you guys are talking about crime and it looks run down. But why can't you just develop it up and build it up in a way that benefits the
I
community?
got this one. Y'all want me to get it?
Yeah, I want you to
Because
get
it's
it.
my shit. Fuck y'all. Y'all got money, then you can come here and develop it. Because that's why I say Tank and Matt, in a way, they right. Because, like I said, it goes back to a glaring hole that we don't have shit. We don't have shit. If it was our shit, black people shit, we could stop it.
No,
But we don't have it.
No. That's a little bit off. Because generally, what you want to gentrify, I don't know who's seen Schindler's List,
I seen Schindler's List. Great
but
movie.
when there's blood on the streets, that's when you buy real estate. Real estate, like a lot of investments, the real key to winning is to getting in low and selling high.
That's the only way to win, ain't it?
It's not the only way,
But it's the best way.
but it's the most consistent.
Yeah.
And the true problem is, as an investor in real estate, what you really want is an area to depress itself to a point where it can't sustain itself, where there's abandoned houses, where the tax
you
base
come
for that
in
area
and-
doesn't pay for the schools to be quality, where there is no safety because all the street lights are out and crime happens in the dark. When those kind of things start happening, the people who live there say, why should I invest here? It's not safe. I'm going to get my money up and I'm going to leave. I'm going to gentrify before they gentrify.
There you go.
I'm going to
There you-
gentrify
No,
my
you know
own
what?
house.
He
Okay.
right, because Bud,
You're right.
intern Bud,
Yeah,
where you
I
live
get what
at?
you're saying. You're
Intern
right.
Bud, where you live at? The Oak Leaf. Why you live in the Oak Leaf, intern Bud? Because the leaf is nice.
'Cause the leaf
Intern
is
Bud,
nice.
where you from? Grand Park till we DIE. I'm from Grand Park. Where I
not
live
your
at?
name.
I live in gentrified Murray Hill. Cuz, where you from?
45th.
45th, where you live at?
Got the fuck away from there.
Exactly.
You done gentrified yourself.
So
You don't have to be gentrified.
again, Matt is right, but I think it still go to my point of we don't have our own because I don't, me, Bud, and Tank, we ain't feel like we should invest in 45th and Grand Park.
Well, we have money to elevate our own personal lives, but not a whole fucking community.
But we could stick around and do something. You could.
I was gonna say if a group, I go back to my
We
point
spend
about
a
you
lot
talking
of
about DJ
summers
Envy
on
and what
Lower
you call it.
Street.
Okay,
If
yeah.
they all get together and help out the community, then it wouldn't be as bad. Then you wouldn't have these people having to gentrify our community if we.
You saying the rich niggas get together?
No, saying black niggas get together.
No, you're saying
The
that
rich.
because a bunch of black people with no money is a bunch of people.
Right,
with
I'm
money.
talking about like
The
black
rich
people who
niggas
have
ain't
gotta be
money.
well off. Well
yeah,
off, not
you have to
rich,
be
but
like
well
well
off.
off and be
Well,
able to
like
sustain
DJ
it.
Envy, right?
It don't take that much.
When DJ Envy invest in these houses and shit like that and flip these houses or whatever, if he made it a thing where he flipped the houses and he tried, I'm not gonna say he did every
Right,
time because
but
that's
tried.
impossible, but he tried to sell it to the black people as much as he could to get them back in there, then that would be part of what Brea's saying.
It would be admirable.
But you wouldn't be selling it to the person you bought it from.
No,
you
you would not.
So-
I agree with that.
so-
but black people would care about other black people more, or in the surrounding area, the ones who are left there. Because when white people gentrify and they get niggas out, like the white people here, they just can't wait to get this last little area gone,
That's
so
really
that it's just
unfair.
a flow all the way through.
That's really unfair.
How is it unfair?
Because the phrase in real estate, restrictions and covenants. You will find that when a person spends X amount of dollars to be in their house, they expect everyone else to treat their house like it costs 2X. Right? If I decide to buy this house for $300,000, my neighbor can't have chain link fences no more. We're not doing that no more. And I don't care if you black, white, or other. Because I can't let your $50,000 house make my house worth $200,000. Because I'm paying on $300,000.
It makes sense. I still don't like it, but what y'all saying?
But
Of course it don't.
what's
It's not
more
right.
concerning?
The world is harsh, baby. The
It's
world
not
cold.
harsh.
You better
It's
get
not-
a sweater.
It's not hard.
Well, no, I'm
It's
now I'm
not
starting.
cold. It's fair. It don't treat you different because you're born different.
Well, now I'm starting to see you all's point about it being about the individual. And at what point does it start to be on the responsibility of the individual to educate themselves and to not get taken advantage of in that way?
I
So,
need a mix of.
I guess you guys are kind of changing my mind, but at the same time, I still don't like it.
Nah,
I need a
still be on the
strong
socialism.
I need a strong mix of capitalism and socialism because when you go either way, hard code.
It's called democratic socialism.
Yeah, but see, they don't have no even
Is
in
that a never mind?
even in
that
the
a
countries
thing?
where
Intern
even in
bud.
the
Is that a thing?
yeah, it's a thing.
Is it
Look
really a
up,
thing?
look up the definition of democratic socialism.
Denmark,
Is it really?
Sweden, all the Scandinavian
Right.
shit, all they have there. Whatever.
Nah, I'm straight on all of that.
Yeah, fuck them. But
You said, wait. You
No,
straight on Denmark and Sweden?
Yeah, fuck them.
Continue.
Yeah, fuck
Continue.
them. Because look, I mean, we need a mix of capitalism and strong social program too. Because the only way Denmark and Sweden and them got enough money to even start to have that socialism democrat is because they started off as capitalists. They couldn't build no capital off of just socialism, capitalism. You need a certain amount of capitalism in order to build up enough money to have all these social programs. You can't have all these social programs with no money.
Capitalism isn't the problem.
But we need
The
socialism
cap-
and capitalism. We
No,
can't
no,
have
no.
just straight
No, no, no.
capitalism. We're gonna
You
be-
can have straight capitalism. The problem is most capitalists
yeah.
don't
It's
see
always-
they don't treat humans as humans.
Democratic social, the intern bud with the facts. Democratic socialism is a political philosophy that advocates political democracy alongside social ownership of the means of production with an emphasis on self-management, which is capitalistic, and democratic management of the economy, institutions within the market, socialist, preparatory and discrimination panel economy. So basically, it's like Tank said, it's a mix.
It's a bit, but see the way that
Both.
the way that a lot of people do it, it just runs the country because that fake fiat currency and shit. Like they shit get fucked up. I ain't no economist. I didn't know there's a lot of problems in both.
But it's like what Matt said, where he was like, it's the capitalists that fuck up capitalism. But I disagree with that. I agree with you that that's true, that the people who get at the top get real greedy. But you cannot have capitalism without poor people.
No. But
So you need socialism to counteract that, because Wal Mart can't exist unless niggas willing to work for $8 an hour.
So what is philanthropy?
What you mean? You're just giving out stuff, right? Donating charity and stuff like
What is
that.
philanthropy?
When you donate
it's
and
people
stuff.
who have made enough for themselves and gotten to a point where they say, as a human, I have so much I need to share with other humans who don't have this
People
much.
don't do that.
Well, I was saying,
Philanthropy's not a thing?
No, I'm just saying people don't do that
she's
often
saying
enough.
For the majority of
Yeah, I'm
people,
talking about the
I
majority of
agree.
people do not do
That
that.
They do
Phil-
it way more than you think.
True, there's a lot of
If you've been to a
philanthropists, but
museum, if you've been
everybody not
to
I need
philanthropist.
some
have you been to a
of
museum?
I need
Yeah.
enough. I need
It
some
ain't
of
enough of them niggas.
It's not enough.
Wait,
I'm for the
wait,
world.
Not
What you mean?
Not for America. What you mean?
Let me say this too about the philanthropists, right? That's
Eat
violating.
rice.
That
That's
ain't fair
violating
now.
your capitalistic
That-
rights.
that ain't fair
because
now.
now you saying that okay,
What's it, what now?
so I'm saying we know that capitalism can't exist without the low income worker. We know that.
Right.
Okay, so now you're saying we subsidize that with philanthropy. Now what we're doing is asking or hoping that somebody who make a bunch of money decide to help us out. That's almost like trickle down economics.
It's not.
gonna
It's
happen.
not the same thing. It's not the same thing
Because they don't have to give us a dime.
How is that not
Bill
the same
Gates
thing?
ain't got to break bread with me.
Here's why it's
Ain't
not the
my
same
money.
thing. This goes back to the root of what I was saying is the issue of capitalism. The real problem with capitalism is where individuals don't see themselves as equal to the people who've helped them build up their capital, right? When the employer,
God
That's a
damn,
good-
put it
yeah.
on the t-shirt.
That was a good-
Don't let Matt talk you out your drawers.
Well,
Let
I
him
like
finish
that.
his
But
point.
that was a good point.
Donation.
The ball's coming down, man.
That was that very well.
You keep talking. You might-
I'm gonna stop right there. Then.
That's it. Bria.
That
Voice
was
of
it.
reason.
Let Matt talk y'all out them drawers, man. I am not cool.
Don't threaten me with
You
a
better
good
finish
time.
that goddamn point.
Bill Gates has decided that his children will each get $10 million apiece, which seems like a plenty good head
Must be
start.
nice.
Except for the fact that if he wanted to, he could give them all $100 million. He could give them all $500,000
Yeah.
if he wanted to. And he said, you know what, $10 million, because that would be like me leaving Poochie $100,000. That's the equivalent.
Yeah, yeah.
Poochie got enough money
many
to get
kids
to
does he have?
college and excuse me.
How many kids does he
I
have?
think 3.
Okay.
I think we get intern Bud. Intern Bud.
How many kids? Matt
Bill
got?
Gates
Oh, you talking about Bill
No, I'm
Gates?
talking about
Bill
Bill. I just
Gates.
wanted to
Matt
get.
got one he
my-
know
go
about.
ahead, I'm sorry.
Right. He could afford to leave them more.
More.
Right. But what he has decided was three
kids.
So that's $30 million.
Okay.
The maker of Microsoft Windows, your App Store, all that good stuff. But he realized within himself, $10 million is more than enough. If they can't make it off of that, we can all agree.
Yeah.
They ain't want to.
That's true.
That-
I agree.
okay. Because the
Bud
spirit
just
of
said
gi-
the top
spirit
20
of giving
philanthropists
doesn't
gave
leave
away
you just because you
$120
make
billion.
more. It's the same reason there's a billion foundations.
enough.
I don't trust the
How
spirit
much
of
you
giving.
want? How much
All
you got
niggas
to
ain't
do?
shit.
No,
Niggas ain't
no,
shit.
no,
I don't
no,
trust the
because
spirit of
people-
giving.
because people
And let me
won't
say this
always
about Bill
support you
Gates'
if you're trying
kids.
to do something.
Although it's admirable that Bill Gates like get out there and earn some shit because y'all don't deserve my $59 billion or whatever he worth now. But see what Bill Gates worth right now. But or whatever, it's probably $72 billion. He earned like $20 billion a year. But he say you only getting 10. But it's misleading because his son already worked for Microsoft and he already done earned $1 billion.
But here's the thing, though. But
Yo, bro,
what?
nation, $93.3
So-
billion is
So
worth Bill
imagine
Gates.
that
here's the
much
part you're
money.
missing, though. Here's the
Nigga,
part
what?
you're missing. If all the kids are
Can't even
getting,
imagine.
if all the kids are getting 10 million, where does the rest of the money go?
I was gonna ask that question.
Now we
Where's
talking-
the
He
rest of
giving
the
it
money
away.
To the
going?
Bill,
He giving it away
to the Bill and Melinda Gates, Foundation.
Yeah,
That's
he
where it's
giving it
going?
away.
That's
Yeah,
where
Bill
it's
Gates-
going.
Bill Gates is a philanthropist. This is true. So is Warren Buffett. Two
How
of the
many
richest
people-
men in the world.
how many-
long is it gonna take us to
people-
put up $90 billion to give away?
But this is the thing. This is when I say it it ain't. When I say it ain't enough of them, I mean all of them is not fucking Bill Gates.
That's
What's
right.
$90
I was
billion?
gonna say, how many Bill
Okay.
Gates are there
Yeah,
out there right now?
all of them are
in
not
the
Bill
1%.
Gates.
How many?
In the,
How many?
but here's,
I would say less than 1% of the 1%.
Just to
I'm
make
o-
a point,
I'm okay
If you
with-
made $34,000 or $35,000 a year, something around there, you in the 1% of the world.
but here's the question.
That's
then.
how much help the rest of the world needs. There's 35,000 in America is 1% of the world.
How many billion we said for Bill Gates?
$93.3 billion. I'll never forget that number.
93.3 billion.
I'm masking up.
Number
The
I
And
90.
can imagine.
he's giving his kids 30 million. I don't have a calculator, but I know that's less than 1%.
That is way less than 1%.
And now we're arguing over that's not enough.
No.
No,
You
no,
giving
it's
99?
not.
That's not what I'm arguing over.
Right.
I don't know
We
what
can't
that cracker
expect.
doing, man. Who knows what the fuck
That's
that cracker
what I'm
doing
saying.
their money?
I'm
I
not
don't know.
arguing over that. What I'm saying is,
If
I
the
don't
kid's
think
only getting 30, that means people who not his kids.
It could stay with Microsoft and
It
keep.
It
I don't know what the
could.
fuck going
It
on
could
with
go
that.
somewhere.
Who knows?
His son gonna
But
inherit
are you
Microsoft.
gonna give your kids 1% of your inheritance and split the rest amongst strangers?
No, Anna getting it
I
all.
don't got enough.
Xbox and my draw.
I don't have
Wait,
enough.
wait,
I'm
so
sorry,
none
all
of
that.
his kids
That
are
is
gonna run
yours.
Microsoft when he gone.
No, his son.
that's
His
not
son is the third person in line at Microsoft right now.
Yeah, because that 93 billion
That's
that they
fake.
None of
counting
his kids are
is
gonna inherit Microsoft
Yes,
when he leaves.
When they-
yes.
Oh,
they're gonna
okay.
inherit
When they
that.
I thought you
calculate-
guys were saying they weren't.
when
I
they
was like, oh.
calculate his worth, that Microsoft is calculated into that 93 billion. So whoever inherits that is
They-
they're
right.
gonna
The
get
10
10
million.
million.
They get the
They're
10
gonna
million,
be
but
a
they also
billion
getting
now.
the billion.
They're gonna be a billion.
Regardless, that's not what I'm saying though. What I'm saying
Take
is
one
this.
down, pass it around.
That-
How many billions went Bill in the ground?
But
He giving you 99.7%.
But see,
Intern Buzz
this-
say,
this my
what
thing,
you want?
this is my thing though.
His DNA.
We cannot depend on the niceness of strangers.
We have to.
but we have to
We
because
have
we
to.
in
Oh,
capitalism.
I'm gonna tell you-
Boy, you going back to capitalism?
No,
Boy,
no,
say that
no.
again.
We cannot
You can't.
depend on the niceness of strangers.
That sound like capitalism.
Because
to
you
me,
know why? You
goddammit.
know why? You know why? Here's why I say why, right?
Why?
Because Republicans
Son of a
and
bitch.
we was talking about lobbyists the other day. Republicans and they lobbyists or whatever, right? They own these big oil companies. They own all this big stuff, and they ain't about giving no extra money to nobody. As a matter of fact, the reason why I know it, Papa John, for example, with his nigga calling ass or
He said
whatever.
the colonel talk like that.
Okay, the Colonel too, but Papa Colonel dead. I ain't gonna.
This
Hey,
nigga knew the colonel.
this nigga knew the Colonel.
He was just saying that's how the colonel
John,
talk.
Papa John,
That's
you
not how
full
we
of
gonna
shit.
talk. He said
Yeah,
that's how
that
the
nigga, I
colonel
know
talk.
the colonel said nigga, but
That's what he said.
That's what he said. But no, Papa John's, for example, he made a lot of money from ground up. He earned it. He made that company, right? When Obama put into place the thing where he would for Obamacare or whatever, his company or whatever had to install a whole new thing because they would have had to pay, and he would have lost 1.9% of his income. So of what he made the previous year, just so he didn't lose 1.9%, he changed everybody to part-time and cut their benefits. Walmart did the same thing, so did Bottoms Up.
But-
so
They're wrong.
No, it's
so
not
we
that
can't
wrong.
Yes,
compete.
it is.
It's not, because here's the
For
thing.
every Bill Gates, it's 5-6 Papa Johns.
But people
But
gotta
if I'm
still gotta live.
But here's the thing.
You already
Are they-
getting your billions
Are they still
every
are they-
year.
But here's the thing. The reason I'm making my billions is because I'm providing thousands of jobs.
But you already still
No,
making.
but
Even
you're
if
not-
how much of my
you
check
still
do I
gon-
have to give away?
Niggas gonna still eat Papa
How
John's
much?
regardless,
I
though.
will. They
You
not.
already you
They
living
not.
You making
comfortable.
your
They
billions.
really
you
not.
Well, you making your
me tell you
billions because
something.
you providing thousands of jobs. Let me
the
tell you
thing.
about Walmart real quick. So Walmart do provide millions of jobs, but this bullshit. Because what Walmart do, they pay $8 an hour. So then people live in poverty. So then they have to apply for food stamps. Guess where they spend their food stamps at? Walmart.
I don't see
And-
nothing.
No,
Hold on,
because
I don't
Whole
see nothing
Food-
wrong with
but,
that.
but where the
Food
food stamps come from? The
Whole
government.
Foods take EBT, so I ain't trying to
All
hear
a
that.
circle,
Right, but they supplement.
But here's the
That
What's
is-
wrong with the hustle?
Every job is not a $15 an hour job.
It should be.
Every
That
job.
should be-
My
minimum
name
wage.
is Joe, and I shovel
man.
mud
At this
at the
point-
zoo.
But they're
and I need
raising
to
the
make $15.
prices,
Well, y'all
the
some
cost of
capitalists, boy.
seriously. They're raising the cost of living, but they ain't raising nobody pay.
Walmart ain't raised the cost of living. How Walmart raised the cost of living?
Because
What?
they forced
They're-
out small and
The goods
Well,
they did
the
raise
The
the
goods
cost of
that they
living.
are
Yeah.
selling, they're raising the
Ain't no
cost
mom
of
and
living.
pop
People
store I
can't
can go to no
the
more.
gas prices.
Wait a minute.
All that
Walmart
is a
just selling
factor.
shit.
No. But everybody begged for Walmart. Everybody begged for Walmart because when Walmart first showed up and people realized, you mean I can get frozen pizza and a tire for my car in the same building?
I think
It
that go back.
sounded
Now,
good.
see, I think everybody bad for
You
Walmart
priced
thing go
yourself
back to
out.
us being
Amazon
from
is next.
Jacksonville, Florida, or Daytona, or wherever southern town that we're from. Because in New York, ain't no WalMarts in New York City.
It's
Because
some in
they,
DC.
but they knew, DC.
I done been
but,
to DC.
but see,
I
that's
went
the
to
thing.
Walmart.
In New York, and in New York, the people in New York. All them businesses and shops is the bodegas, the pizza places, they all mom and
I don't
pops,
think it
right?
is the way you think
and
it
they
is.
like, yo, you can't set up here because it's gonna shut us down.
Hey, you know why? You know why they can't set up there is because inside of this capitalism, we also have some democratic shit. So the people there, the community, they say no. So
That's where you going.
they want, if they
there's
want,
full circle.
yeah, so minimum wage and shit. When niggas want minimum wage, the raise or whatever. All right, vote for the motherfucker motherfuckers who say they're gonna raise the minimum wage.
And we're back to this again.
Don't do
I
that.
agree.
I just go back to it because
I mean,
minimum wage.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying.
it's people working minimum wage that'll vote for a motherfucker who against raising the minimum wage. Goddamn, man, that's a society thing. And you even more dependent on the goddamn society if you go over toward the socialism side. So, I mean, you got to pick a team.
Niggas ain't growing potatoes.
But do we,
Individuals
do
fuck
we-
up every government system.
Do we expect everyone to live like Bill Gates?
What?
No.
Fuck Bill Gates.
Do we expect that?
I'm good.
No.
I do think it is reasonable that if you're born in the United States of America and you're willing to get up in the morning or the afternoon, go somewhere, provide a service that helps the country, that you should be able to go home to 4 walls and a roof and enough calories to keep you up for the next day of work.
Okay.
Okay.
Intern Bud, I'm not to cut you off. Intern Bud with the Walmart facts or whatever, and this was showing like Tank say the power of community and mom and pops. Walmart as a company has stores in all 50 states, but does not have stores in some of the largest cities in the country. There are no Walmart stores in these 5 cities: New York City, San Francisco, Detroit, Seattle, or Boston. That's a total of 11.23 million consumers.
Really?
Think
You know
about
why though?
big
Wait,
ass
but no,
cities.
why though?
No,
Because they don't know Walmart there.
no,
Yeah, because
no,
they was like,
no,
you not
that's
shutting
not
down
why.
my mom
No,
and pop.
that's not why. Think about how large a Walmart is.
No.
Think about
Wait.
Think about how
I wanna
large
hear
it
this.
is.
I wanna hear
and
this.
Think about how large a Walmart is and how much that much real estate in New York City major
Okay,
costs.
Walmart got the money to buy it,
And
number
then we
one.
selling
Number two,
$1.99
You think
pads.
Walmart don't want a Walmart in those cities?
But listen to
Pretty
what
sure
I'm
they do.
saying. Listen to what I'm saying. You know where Walmart thrives? Walmart thrives where real estate is cheap, but median incomes are higher than the poverty line.
LA is
Nah.
higher than a motherfucker. It's
Right.
a Walmart in LA.
You think they're gonna put a Walmart on Beverly
Okay.
Hills?
Is
Why
it
would you put a
Walmart in
Walmart?
LA?
Why would you put a
Here's-
Walmart on Beverly
here's
Hills?
why I
You're
say-
paying super high rent or property
Here's why I
taxes
say
for people
that
who
the
can't
community-
afford to get there.
Here's
to
why I say the
shop.
community got together.
That,
Me
that
and
don't
Brea,
make fiscal sense.
Brea ex-boss at Bottoms Up, and one of my friends from Bottoms Up, Ben Simon, he's from Brooklyn, or Long Island. I'm sorry, he's from Long Island, New York. He's from New York City. And we talked about this previously, way before the podcast. He was like, when he was a kid in the 2000s, Walmart wanted to come in and build a Walmart in Times Square where the Toys R Us and all that stuff is. Walmart, because this is when they were still revitalizing Times Square and making it nice. And Walmart wanted to come in. No, that's different from Times Square, because in Times Square used to all be sex shops and stuff like that.
Oh.
It was the red light district, and they got that shit out of there.
gentrified.
They got it out of there and cleaned it up and made it nice, family friendly. But anywho, he said that when he was a kid or whatever, and they wanted to put that there. Everybody in New York, they voted on, just like how we just shut down that thing by Kmart by the beach or whatever, right? They voted on it, and all the mom and pop stores got together and was like, no, because it's gonna put us out of business.
My thing is, Matt, do you really think the only reason that Walmart ain't in Boston or Seattle or
San Francisco?
San Francisco,
is because of
What?
New York
fiscal
City?
problems?
Would you?
Nah,
Would you?
I
Be,
can't.
wait a minute.
It's
Let me
plenty
ask,
of
let me
land.
ask
It's
y'all
plenty
this.
of land.
Let me ask y'all this. Would you build a Ruth Chris on Golf Fair in 40?
All of Boston ain't golfing.
You know, no,
Hell no.
You wouldn't
I bet
build
you're
it
pulling your drawers up now.
because the people.
They up.
No.
Well, no, I
The
understand what
reason
Matt's
you
saying,
wouldn't is
though,
because
yeah.
the people who can afford to shop there wouldn't come there to shop there.
Walmart done tried to
So
build
the reverse,
Walmarts in all them
the
cities.
reverse is true. Where is your Walmart in Ponte Vedra?
Nigga, you put a Walmart.
Where is it?
He right though.
Where is it?
Yeah, that's these.
Why is no
you're not talking about
Macy's in
cities.
Golfville?
You're not
It's a
talking about
Wal-
cities
wait.
though.
It's a Walmart
You're not
right
talking
on
about
the beach.
cities.
It's a
We
Walmart.
talk, New
We
York
talking
City
the
is a
whole
city.
city.
It's a whole
Listen,
city.
listen.
It's a whole
But,
lot
listen,
here.
but here's the thing, real estate wise, and that's where people get confused a lot. Real estate is very local. In Florida, in the South, we love to build out. We don't build up. There's no skyscrapers downtown for
I mean,
residential
even in
housing.
Jacksonville though, when you go to like different parts of the city, when you in like off of Lane Avenue and stuff like that, you gonna see a
Why would I be
Walmart.
over there?
But if you go over to like the South Side, you know they don't.
Walmart.
You know,
It's
they,
Walmart's on the
You
south
see
side.
different-
they
you
do
see
not, but
different
they don't.
It's a
places.
Walmart on Atlantic.
You
It's a
see-
Walmart on Beach.
Duval,
What
man.
are you
Where-
talking
wait,
about?
no,
Certain
Yeah,
areas,
Jacksonville,
certain
everybody
areas. No,
coming
no,
here.
no,
That
no,
is
no.
not true.
Certain
That is
areas
not
they only
true.
have Publix or they got Aldi.
Now we're talking.
They
oh,
are
no,
not
no, no.
building no Walmart.
You don't
Not
say-
even Aldi,
Where
but
is
Publix.
the Save-A-Lot at the beach?
I need to know where.
Ain't no Save-A-Lot
Where
at
is
the
the
beach.
Save-A-Lot?
I ain't
No,
never
no.
seen a
Well,
Save-A-Lot
can I
at the
say
beach.
this? Can I say this? Whatever.
You don't
Everybody,
think Save-A-Lot won't sell at the beach?
everybody knows Save a Lot for the ratchet
It's a
bitches.
Winn-Dixie on Beach Boulevard.
Everybody knows saving life for the
That's what
ratchet.
he's saying about Walmart.
No. But when you say about Duval, because this thing about Duval, we got hoods. It's hoods in Mayport.
Is it a Dollar
All
Tree
the
at
Jacksonville got
Avenues?
hoods.
I agree with what Tank
Is it a
said.
Dollar
though.
Tree at
Y'all
Avenues?
talking about neighborhoods.
It's a
Not
Dollar
on close.
We talking
Not
about
at
But
the
it's
mall.
not. I didn't know it
It's
is.
not
Where you
because
in the Dollar Tree?
Wait,
around there?
wait.
Chill
Yeah.
out.
I'm agreeing with Tank though because y'all talking about neighborhoods. This thing said the whole city.
Okay, you right. You got me on that one.
So it don't matter. It's not in the
When you make it small,
it's not
though,
in
you're
the
talking
rich.
about.
It's not in
That's
shit.
But that's how real estate works. When you decide, okay, are we going to build this business
Detroit?
here?
No, you got a point though.
But
But you talking about
Detroit-
whole
Detroit
cities
is so
though,
much
and they can't
space
build
in
it
Detroit.
nowhere
And everybody
in the
low
whole
income.
city.
And you can't build
it's
nothing.
not. Detroit is not like that right now. Detroit is a seller's market. Here's a fun fact about Detroit. If you buy a $600,000 home in Detroit, you know what you will not get with your purchase?
What?
Landscaping. You will spend $600,000 for a house and not get grass.
Right.
That is not true in Jacksonville, Florida. In Jacksonville, if you spend over $60,000,
You get
you can
some grass.
expect the line.
So North Shore,
And that's because
what's the
real
name of the
estate
baseball
is
park in
local.
Detroit?
No, man.
So North Shore by the baseball stadium, by the fucking arena, by where they shot that movie out, where all the houses
With John
knocked down,
Travolta.
by where you go into the Canadian border, all of the whole city of Detroit don't have not one Walmart in it, and we think it's just because they can't build nothing. It's because them people have mom and pop shops, and they like shut this shit
So wait,
down.
so Matt, you don't
I don't even know
think
why we talking about this.
you don't think that the mom and pops are strong enough to say Walmart, no, you can't come here.
The reason I say no is that implies that the mom and pops in Jacksonville was too weak to keep them out.
No, they ain't give a
Hey,
no,
wait a
they ain't
minute.
give a fuck. They wanted to go to Walmart.
Everywhere else in the world, the mom and pops couldn't stop them.
I was driving.
5 cities could.
I was driving down. I was driving down.
Five out of all of
me and,
America?
5. Only in 5 places is mom and pop.
That's
bigger than-
11.2. It was 11.23 million people live there.
No, it's
though.
not only that. It's not on that. Me and it's smaller shit or whatever. But me and Kendra, that's wifey. Oh, I was supposed to say your name. Me and Tanya.
Tanya,
We done
please
said
stop watching
Kendra
the
on this
live.
show
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
many
yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Boy, just say your point.
Now I'm gonna say somebody. Me and Kim, we were going down to Tampa.
Who else in your black book?
All right. Hey, Kendra, I don't know none of these bitches. I'm just saying names. So me and Maria was going down to Tampa, and it's cities down there that where they wanted to put a Walmart. It's districts or whatever, but the people in that district were like, no.
You
Or
have
whatever.
power.
Just in Florida, it's districts that said no, you can't build a Walmart here.
Walmart is the
It's a lot of
pinnacle
country
of
shit in
capitalism, and they do that, man. You right. If Walmart come in your hood and you own a little mom and pop shop, you done. You can't compete with that because if you say I own a butcher and I sell cheese and meat, right? I can't compete with Walmart who's selling chicken for $1.25 a pound and I'm selling it for $2.
But if the
Unless
community
you
comes
Carol's
together
Meat
and goes to the town hall meetings
And say don't go.
and
No,
then
but
that's a
see-
different
but
story.
see,
And
Does
that's
that
why I
change
say we
it? That
not
doesn't change it
giving
at
somebody
all.
It's a Carol's right up the street from Walmart on Limb Turner.
And I bet Walmart do more
Meat
business
Market-
than Carol's.
But Carol's do enough to stay in business. See, at some point, you have to say for yourself, if I can keep my doors open, I'm gonna keep my doors open.
Let me ask you this: so you saying Walmart don't put small businesses out of business? Because
That
that's
is-
crazy.
No.
Okay.
What I'm
I
saying-
just want to make sure you
what
ain't
I'm-
saying that.
what
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
No,
I
this is-
done got it out. My drawers done got pulled up. I don't know what's going on.
That's what I wanted.
sorry, what?
That's what I wanted.
What?
You did a good job of doing
Get
that.
yourself together.
Drawers
You're
up.
too loose with it.
I told you don't let Matt pull your drawers off.
What?
This is what I'm saying. Walmart is everywhere it wants to be financially. Right?
Right.
If opposition to Walmart was all it took, it's the same reason that they build pipelines through Native American ranches. They tear down endangered tree species to put up factories. Communist.
I'm
Capitalism.
about to say, don't you bring us into this.
Sorry, Putin.
Okay.
Capitalism wins where it wants to, except for in a few extreme cases where the numbers are so close that the local population can push it the other way.
You know why? Because it's still somewhat of a. There's so many different shifts with this legal shit or whatever.
Regulation.
But it's still a democracy. But the thing is, most people don't know nothing about these complicated ass laws.
Now
that
we
they
talking.
have
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all of
Now
this
we
shit.
That's another point.
And I ain't got the
No, we
time to figure all of that shit out. That's why they make
Even
this
if
shit
you
a
did,
tango
even
well.
if you
I
did,
think-
would you?
Say what?
Even if you did have the time.
If they made it simple enough,
No,
but
no, because
I
I
think
think
it is
had that
simple
kind of
enough.
time.
You're right, though.
that shit
I'd be
is
on
make it-
vacation.
nigga told me on Facebook the other day I ain't gotta have no driver license.
You don't.
Oh well, and yeah,
You don't.
You may be right.
If you don't want to
Technically, he's right. You don't have to pay
Technically.
taxes either.
You don't have to
But
pay
guess
taxes
what? The
either.
government gonna enforce that shit,
And you know-
no, the money you spend on
So
the
then you do have
argument.
to, if the
All
government.
You
knowledge
don't.
don't
I'll
make
tell
you
y'all
smarter.
after the show why you
Yeah,
don't need
yeah.
a driver's license.
you don't, but you do. You don't, but you do.
Right, because the money you gonna spend on
No,
your
no,
legal
wait.
fees.
You don't or you do.
No.
Not you
It's
don't.
either
but
or.
you do.
Okay,
There's
explain
no,
the shit.
Legally,
you
explain
can't
it.
be both.
legally, unless you're transporting goods, you are not required to have a driver's license. That's because the law go way back to the back in the day, and the only people that needed a license was people who was transporting goods. If you just going from state to state or place to place for your own personal pleasure,
State to state, I don't need a license.
No.
As an African American in 2018.
See, now
Y'all,
we
let me
getting
finish
away
my
from
point.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking because
I'm
you
gonna tell you.
spitting it like
Let me
you
finish
spitting
my
it
point.
like.
Let me finish your point.
Sorry,
Okay,
officer,
so-
but
Based
I ain't got
on
no goods.
based on the way the law is
He's
written,
saying legally right
legally, based on the way the law is written, you don't need the license. But the way the law is interpreted and enforced by the
Practically.
government
By judges,
or whatever,
yes.
by judges
Practically.
and police, they're going to enforce that. Now, every single person, because I've seen this story a bunch of times, every single person who's gone to court to fight up against that has won. It's the went to the Supreme Court and everything. So, but the money you're going to spend going to
Wait
the
a
Supreme
minute.
Court is way more than the $150
Well, I gotta stop you right there.
there.
Not every person that fought it, but
Are you tell-
most people who, if you have a lawyer to fight that shit, or whatever, there's cases like
It's only been three times argued.
Are you trying to?
I seen more. Go ahead.
Are y'all trying to say that in 2018, as an African American male, I could feel comfortable traveling up and down the highway
having a- well,
without a driver's
That ain't what I'm
license?
telling
Well,
Who
see,
told
you
you
get
that?
shot if you pull it
Now
out
you
or
just
not.
say, now you just
So-
say, now you just say it's not the law.
No,
No,
I'm saying,
no,
Oh, you say
based on the way the law written,
See, don't be giving people these
technically
half
you
facts.
don't
You
need
gonna have a brother leave his wallet home and think he Gucci. And
I mean, you get shot whether you have your wallet or
I'm about to
not.
say, look here, nigga,
mean,
leave your
reach for
wallet
your
if you
wallet,
want
you
to.
tell
Hold on, Matt.
Left cheek.
Hold on, Matt. What we were just talking about? We were just talking about it's a whole bunch of shit that you could do, but legally, but nigga don't have the time to
get
go
into
and read
it,
all
right.
into it. That's one of the
What-
things where.
Taxation is theft.
Hold on,
Yeah.
now. Even if a nigga has time to go through and read and
Oh, I
understand,
say that one more time.
And for who has what?
Say what? That
They just like to hear you say nigga. They just like to
why?
hear you say
That's not
nigga.
true. That's not true.
Sangria.
It's a sangria
Make you say
coming
nigga. Say it again, Bria, just because I want to hear your point.
If a black person
All right. A brother, perhaps.
has the time to go through the law and understand and educate himself, how does that help him when
Now we talking.
police officers
Thank
are going to
you.
do what
'Cause
they
if
do
he ain't been through the law the
regardless?
same way-
okay, I can answer. It doesn't help you when you're dealing with that redneck. This my argument to the nigga that told me this shit. It don't help you with the redneck cracker with a gun who pull
Isn't
you
that all
over.
of them?
So please let's
But
not
you know,
promote
all
that.
of them,
Let's
though,
please
'cause
not
they-
say it like somebody should get up and not worry about a license.
It doesn't help you for that. But when you go into
So when does it help you?
well, I'm trying to tell you what. But if you
Oh,
let me talk,
sorry.
all right.
Yeah.
Keep
Now-
letting them Bria. Get them back.
If now it doesn't help you with the redneck cracker to pull you over with a gun because he don't know shit that you know anyways. But when you go to the court of the law with the seal or whatever and all of that shit, and you have the proper lawyer and proper representation, you can get off on the shit. And I know that this is a fact because it's been cases where they
Laws
have
about
gotten
precedent.
Okay,
off.
so it
It's
works if
precedent. It
you
has been
survive
said.
the redneck cop.
Yeah,
who
if you
wants
don't
to
die,
shoot
you
you.
survive-
If
you
you don't
survive-
die
Ain't nothing
and
you
you
can do
get
this
to
shit.
the Supreme
You
Court,
survive without a
Survive the
license.
encounter. You can afford
You can afford
representation.
representation.
You actually get due process.
and they actually
you just
say they
might
want to
beat
hear
that.
your case.
Ladies and
you-
gentlemen,
yeah.
please have proper ID.
Please,
I know
dear
it's
God
unfair that you have
Almighty.
to carry
think
field
nobody
papers.
saying not to.
Oh.
We're not saying don't carry
We're
it. We
telling
just
you
telling
that
you.
Then you need to
that
say
it's-
don't
Legally,
carry.
it's a
Legally,
thing.
it don't
Okay.
matter.
Okay.
But it's a fact that
Tax-
But please do, dear
Listen,
God.
Understand that laws aren't apply equally.
They do not
That's
at all.
true. Justice is not blind. She looking dead at you when she white.
Dead at you.
But
Oh.
that being said, though, taxation is theft. Okay, we can prove that taxation is theft.
I agree.
But this goes back to the whole society thing.
much
As a
we got to
whole,
give?
as society agree
Too
that we
much.
should be taxed. As a whole, as a society,
As a
society
whole,
ag-
society agrees that.
Hell
we should
yeah,
be
y'all pay it, don't
That's
you?
what y'all just
Are you
said.
fighting?
No, I'm saying
as a
like,
whole, as a society, they all instead of everybody getting together
No,
and saying we read this law, it's wrong, we don't need license. Everybody just go along.
I know
with the
people
flow.
not fighting for it, but do you really think that people are okay with being taxed like that?
Yes.
Yes, because they paying it.
No.
If you're
Here's
not
why.
okay with something,
No,
you
no.
don't do it.
You can't. No,
But that's
it's not-
fighting
no,
for it. I'm
no,
saying
no, no,
without
no.
fighting for it,
No,
I know they
here's-
paying it, but do they
Here's
actually
why.
agree?
Here's why. Because people wake up every day and say, you know what? I expect my government to
To
provide
protect me and
X.
provide for me. There you go.
I don't expect shit from them crackers. See,
You
that's the
you
biggest
really
problem
don't,
right
you
there.
don't expect paved roads when you leave your house.
Man, come
You
on.
won't
man.
get- yeah.
Don't go to the
No,
basics.
you
You,
don't ex-
you
you
said
don't expect-
provide.
you don't
But that's a
Fuck
part
a
of it,
paved road,
though.
I'll be all right with a dirt road. I don't.
But you want a road.
Huh?
But you do expect the road.
What you waving at? What the
Right. You do
What
expect
you
the
do-
road.
Huh?
You do expect the school. When your daughter ready to get up in the morning, you do expect the school to be there with a teacher.
Man, hold on. Okay.
You do
gotta
expect
get to
that.
specifics of provide.
These
Provide
are
what?
specifics.
Provide what?
Education, transportation,
Roads,
highways and roadways,
highways and roadways.
police. Even though police don't serve me much, I expect them to be somewhere doing something.
Man, I don't call the police
I
for
don't.
shit.
You don't call them for
Last-
that, but you
last
would,
time
but
I
you
called the
but guess
police-
what?
But
You
we
would-
just- they
you
serve their
wouldn't move-
purpose.
You wouldn't move to a
Yes,
city
they
that
serve their
said,
purpose.
just so you know, we have no police force.
Right.
Somebody with
You
no
ain't
They
moving
serve their
them.
purpose.
I
You
might
at the
ain't
end of the
trying to
day.
move to the Wild Wild West like
Well,
that.
Again,
police.
this go back to my whole thing about it's only two
What?
ways to run this shit.
What?
Either the government step up and do what the hell they supposed to do, because like
What the
Matt
government
say,
supposed to
you
do?
expect the government to do stuff because you're paying taxes, or
Yeah.
we have anarchy like Tank won't.
I-
I'm cool
whoa,
with
whoa.
either way. So
How the
either
hell
way,
I'm a libertarian and an anarchist?
because
make
libertarians
it
are
your mind.
anarchists.
I was gonna say,
you
I
ain't
think
never
that's
look up
kind of-
I don't.
libertarianism.
You call me that shit. I don't know what it is.
Okay, libertarian.
Turn bud, what is Tank? What is Tank? Because he used to be a hood nigga.
Hood niggas ain't so.
Yeah, he making up. Not at all.
That's it. He
With a splash?
He hood niggas
I
with
think
a
the
splash.
I think
splash
that-
is like turning into a wave.
I think
That's it.
a little bit.
That's all the plugs across
I'm
America,
just
baby.
saying. Here's my thing, and this is all I'm saying, and this is my philosophy with the whole government thing. I'm down either way. If y'all want to have this shit the Wild Wild West, let's make it a Wild Wild West. But if y'all want structure in government, let's make it actual structure in government. Structure in government. I think the current system and capitalism and the way shit work now is half-assing because the government don't do enough to take care of its people. It's 332 million people in America, and it's a lot of shortcomings for more than half of those people. So I want the government to step up because they got plenty of money. If you could spend $59 billion on some jets, you could have bought and built better schools. That's period. I don't need jets.
Well, see,
Jets
I
ain't
I
helping
think
me.
capitalism is taking over
This is what
too
it is.
much. A little
Welcome.
too
Have you-
much.
Dos Padano.
Have you
Just a little.
ever given money to a vagrant, a homeless person, and felt like, you know what, them dollars might not be going for food and drink?
You damn right, but the government ain't homeless.
This what it
Fuck
is.
that.
I mean, at what point is given to
I don't
people
give-
who not?
But
gonna
if,
do
No,
if
that?
I'm paying,
different.
if I'm
Wait,
paying
wait.
the government,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Bria. No, when I give to a homeless nigga and he might go and he say, I'm hungry, I want some chicken, and I give him money, he might go get a beer. I'm giving out of my heart. When I give to the government, I'm giving because I want a service in return. I'm not doing this shit out of my heart because my heart say don't give y'all shit.
That's why that goes right along with why y'all felt bad about philanthropists. That's why we got to take your money off the top so that we can have streets.
And that's true. The
Because
government
you know
taking
what?
money off the
You know
top.
what?
So
know
if you
what
taking
would
the
happen?
shit off the
If
top,
they
I
did-
want my shit the way
if
I
they-
want it.
If they didn't take money off the tops, we wouldn't have schools because people without cars and people without kids would be like, I don't have to give.
You damn
That's the
right.
whole problem
You
with the
damn right.
healthcare system. I'm healthy.
So
I
fuck
don't go to
everybody
the
else,
doctor.
right?
So
That's
why
true.
do I have to pay?
Exactly.
For everybody
So,
else.
And I think you should
then
pay into
you
the
know what,
healthcare
Uncle
system.
Sam, make them give it up.
That's right, and I agree. Uncle Sam, make them give it up. But you
But
know
I
what,
ain't
Uncle
giving
Sam?
all of it
when
up.
But-
when we give it up, you better build what the fuck I said build because the
that's what
government
I'm
is still
saying.
you.
Also, if I'm paying you, also do what I want you to
Right.
do.
You don't
Don't,
get to tell me
don't
what
only
to do
listen
with
to
my
the
shit.
niggas that's rich and they got
Yeah, you don't get to
corporations
tell me what to
and
do
they
with my
feeding the
shit.
government money,
This my
and that's
shit.
what you listening to.
But when we,
But the
when-
poor people don't get nothing.
But when we give it up and we give them schools and their schools fall to an F because their parents never show up and say, why is it that my son has received
it's
X
not
grade?
everywhere though.
I'm not saying it is.
Okay.
I also don't give a fuck.
And I also feel that, guess what? You'll never make everybody a productive citizen of this country.
Very true.
Very
Some of
true.
us have healthy habits
Very true.
that'll never make us
I
productive.
also don't give a fuck
and
if the school or
reliable.
F school. Oh, it went dead? Oh, Tank phone died. Oh, okay, that's fine.
Maria, Ashley,
But the
Kim,
show almost over anyway.
Yeah, text you back when you charge it.
But we gonna wrap it up. But I just want to say I don't give a fuck if the school or F school or not. I just want to make, if the school of F school and they had the same computers and the same books and the same food and the same curriculum and all that shit as the other schools, then them kids failing.
Not
And
if
then
the
we need
other
to figure-
school is not an F school.
Wait a minute.
No, here's what I'm saying. Okay, so here's my thing right now, and I ain't gonna make it long. Okay, so right now, a F school, a high school F school, and you go into that school and you look at the books and the computers and the stuff that they're using, it is not equal to the A school that's on the other side of town that's nicer. So that's what I'm saying. If they get the same shit and then they get an F, then we'll figure it out. But at this point, I don't know if they got the F because they ain't have the same shit, or if they got the F because they stupid.
Okay.
I need them to have the same shit first. That's my
So you
point.
gonna level the playing
Right,
field.
level the shit out. But whenever a nigga asks for a leveling, now I'm a communist.
Oh.
So I don't know what to tell niggas. Because niggas love capitalism. I think it's ingrained in us. I think it's
I don't
because
love capitalism.
I think the hate capitalism is anti-American.
I don't think the problem with capitalism is with individual, because even in a socialist or a communist thing or whatever, if the system doesn't go with what you want, you just fuck.
True, but in socialist, individual. See, the difference is in capitalism,
You can vote.
individual freedoms are encouraged. In socialism, you ain't got no.
It don't matter about
We telling
encourage.
you
It
what
don't
the fuck
matter.
to
It
do.
don't matter what encouraged or not or whatever. What was I like that though? What individual freedoms are encouraged in the capitalism?
Yes, they are. But
Yeah.
individual freedoms are not encouraged in socialism, and I'm not gonna sit here
Yes,
and lie to y'all
okay.
and say that they are.
Oh yeah. Well, fuck.
We
that.
have
What-
structure, and they tell you what the fuck to do.
Yes, I don't know about. Yeah,
I think niggas
fuck
need to.
that.
I think niggas need to be told what to do.
But no.
That's what I
I
think.
think that we should.
Yes,
be
I
told.
think people, humans. When I say niggas in this term, bro nation, I mean all people, niggas. I think people need to be told what to do.
Meaning
If
we have
you
to have a
Capitalism
leader.
does.
if you lead people, no, it don't.
No,
Because you can
that's
do whatever you
not-
want. You can start this business. You can start that
no.
business. You can
Here's
do this.
why.
You can do that.
No, we do what
No,
the fuck
no.
we want in capitalism.
Yeah,
No,
it's
no,
a free market. That's the definition of capitalism
No,
is
no, no.
free market. I don't think
Capitalism-
free market should exist.
Capitalism drives human effort and talent to the things society wants. There's a reason there's no more elevator operators, because nobody's paying nobody to sit in the elevator and push the button.
But that's
for you.
because of technology.
man.
No.
Technology.
Yeah,
No,
doesn't
it's
change
not
regardless if it was
I don't think that's
capitalism
because
or
of
Innovation,
Yeah, I
socialism.
don't think
innovation
because
is a
of
result of
capitalism.
capitalism.
That's
it's the
definition
end
of that.
No,
I've heard that
Are you
argument.
smoking dope?
And I heard that argument.
Are you
First of all,
smoking dope?
Wait.
If I can make the same money,
dope?
if I can make the
Sometimes.
same
Well,
money
in the-
as
being-
a doctor
being-
farming land,
being-
why would I ever desire to be
But
more
being
than a
Being able
farmer?
to be
Wise tale.
individually free or whatever has sparked some of the most. Has sparked the generation of evolution, because I ain't got no individual freedoms with communism and socialism.
That's what I was
That's
saying
a
about
fact.
the,
Why
that's what I
Cuba
was
not on the main stage?
my nigga.
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
it.
I was saying. Okay, so in the '60s, America were 200 years almost into a capitalistic free market society which sparks free thinking. The Soviets were 100 years into a socialist society. That's the extreme right of socialism, which is communism or whatever, right? Okay, America and Russia had the same technology. They had the same fucking drive and achievement. Russia put the first man in space, not us. They had nuclear subs before we did. So don't the whole adage that capitalism makes you invent stuff.
you
That's
saying
bullshit
Trump-
that the capitalists say.
Well,
That's not
how was
true.
the rest of society while
No,
Russia
no,
was
no.
doing that?
Capitalism
Back in the
free
60s,
How was it?
everything was either capitalist or communist.
the rest of
Capitalism
Russia
freed the slaves.
How was the rest of Russia while those few scientists was doing that? How was the rest of the Russian society? then?
Russia was poor and
Exactly.
shit like that. I said communism is the extreme end of socialism,
Exactly.
which is what I was saying. But I'm saying that like
It's two ends of
But I'm saying-
socialism. You're either
I'm not
communist
even-
or fascist, but they both
right, but no, it's
socialist.
more than just communism and fascism. I'm a socialist Democrat. That's not either one of those. But what I'm saying is,
then that means you.
But what I'm saying is
on
this,
your way
though.
to being a fascist.
what I'm
Motherfucker.
addressing though,
But-
well, I thought you called me something else with an F, but
Ew, Tank.
I was drinking that, brother.
but what I was addressing was you guys saying
Talking
that
about what my rails at.
if you don't,
Rails at.
because Tank awful. We about to wrap it up. But what I was addressing, Cedric, was the fact that you were saying if you don't have capitalism, you don't have free thought. That's not true. You can have free thought with socialism too. Albert Einstein came up in one of the most oppressive forms of government it is, which is fascism.
boy.
And he's one of the smartest dudes of all time.
He not.
Oh man.
What? Did you just say Einstein was one of the
This
funniest?
nigga man crazy, man.
Who is Matt? Who is?
crazy.
Who won the? You are
Tank
Matt.
crying, y'all.
Oh shit! Oh
I know
boy.
that's a hero of yours.
Man, but right, we got to wrap it up, man. But hey,
Albert Einstein is
it
an
was a good
idiot.
show, man. Bro, listen,
It says
podcast
man.
number 19.
You crazy.
Before we
boy.
go,
Who's
I
the
want to
smartest
say,
person in the world?
everybody be on the lookout. Early August, I got on this same podcast channel, I'm gonna start doing interviews called "Bruh Listen to My Story," and basically what I'm gonna do is just sit down with people, talk about them on their journey. Our first episode is gonna be a young lady named Carrie. She from out west. She was kidnapped by a cult and stuff like that. So it's real super interesting. So y'all be on the lookout for that, Bruh Listen too. And
There was some controversy with that too, wasn't it? I talk about it. I talk to you about it off there.
yeah, so that's gonna be super interesting. But nevertheless, we appreciate everybody listening. Remember, if you want to reach out to us or respond, just go ahead and drop something in the comments on any of the providers that we're on. Also, you can hit us up at bruhlistenpodcast@gmail.com. Give us show topics, ideas, whatever. We'll say we appreciate it. Give you a shout out. We'll do the show topic, whatever. Just hit us up, man. And yeah, 6 p.m. Saturdays live on YouTube. And then live on Facebook until tank battery run out. So we running it. We're doing it big.
True.
But we're gonna go into the final thoughts for episode number 19. Invigorating show. I feel like we was real smart. I felt the knowledge in here.
real smart.
Yeah, I felt
Boy,
the
I
knowledge
don't
in
think
here
we're
today.
smart enough to talk about all these goddamn topics.
Oh man, I think we are. I think it was a good show. Matt, go ahead with your final thought, man.
Well,
Don't be discouraged if your big goal takes too many small goals because you can't climb a mountain in 2 steps.
Socrates. Yeah, but get those final thoughts, Socrates.
You need to write these down.
Yeah, that's
Put
it.
them in the
Matt,
archives.
y'all don't realize Matt just opened fortune cookies before he come here, and then he just be like, "Yo, what's up with it?" It was like,
Lucky
this-
number 7, 9, 14, 11.
Yeah, it's like the sky no longer falls if you jump. Tay, go ahead with your final thought.
what? You can't climb a mountain with 2 steps, but you don't need no steps. When you hit in front of the back, you just keep your feet planted, and you can make a beautiful baby.
Thank you, Brea.
All right.
Next, Brea.
Because
Brea, please hurry.
rubbers off of chumps.
Brea.
Thanks, Cardi B. That's not true, bro, nation.
Hey, boy, don't put no advisory on my shit. Now, that's my final thought.
All right, my
Go
final
ahead on,
thought.
Bree. That's not true. Please
Hey,
protect
but-
yourself. That's it. You
Boy,
done.
no, I got to do it
No,
over
no,
again.
no, no,
Brea,
it's
what
okay.
again?
You don't have to
You
do it
don't
over.
need
It's
2
okay.
steps to climb. What you said, boy?
We said it. They got it on the tape. Brea, you up?
Now remember last week when I told y'all, motherfuckers,
I said, Brea, what you got?
when y'all wanted me to say, "Hey, Tank,"
Brea,
I
read the
told
bumper
you.
sticker.
She about to read it for real. Bro, what's your final thought, man?
As far as gentrification goes, I'm still two-sided on it. I think that you guys kind of changed my mind about it being on the individual. I think it does play a part on the individual to educate themselves and to be better. The country is progressing and people are progressing and they want to move forward. So if you want to move forward, you got to move forward with it. At the same time, you people who are taking advantage of these people, now that is wrong. And I think that people, I keep mentioning DJ Envy because you keep mentioning them, and I ain't never heard about them. I'm like, if you're going in the community buying these houses, then do something for the community. You buying the house and you're not doing anything, do something. And I think that black people need to do that more, especially black people who have money and who are making it. Go back into your community and build it up and make it something better, because we can be better.
Like
Period.
Bill Gates.
I want to say that, like, we need a black Bill Gates. Also, I feel like this show would not be funny without Tank at all. I don't know why. I feel like that. But
Diddy is our black Bill Gates.
Diddy is not our black Bill Gates.
Get out.
Y'all
You
know how
wild.
much this nigga give.
He
Man,
ain't
Russell
do- he ain't
Simmons.
did nothing
that ain't
for
what
me.
I'm talking about.
He ain't did nothing for me.
That ain't what I'm not talking about.
about?
I ain't talking about the philanthropy part of it.
That's what we talking about.
Oh,
Y'all
okay.
want this your final thought?
I
We
don't
wrong. We
respect
fucking
me.
up.
Okay,
Go
ahead.
that wasn't even my final thought. I was just talking.
Okay.
My final thought is this or whatever. I think that we have a lack of community going back with this gentrification thing, going back to when we was talking about it take a village to raise a child, all that stuff. Let's come together right now, get our community started and thriving so that we can be strong and they can't be broken down or whatever. Like Matt say, new nation of the black sun, or how y'all out there want to say Wakanda forever. Dude, Wakanda ain't gonna make itself. So if you come together, be strong as one, as a people, I think everything will be all right. or whatever. Also, I want to say this. I think everything all right, y'all. Y'all keep y'all head up, man. Trump about to blow this whole thing up anyways. So we get to start from
With it,
scratch.
baby.
Dos Vidania. Viva la Russia, right? Comrade.
Gonna be
Okay.
on top this time.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody. Listen, brother. Listen, episode number 19 in the books. As we say every week, all power to the people. Peace.
Rubbers for chumps.